Mwah! Will you be my Valentine? We're going to be chatting about the movie from 2001, Valentine, today. It was an interesting rewatch. I didn't remember much about it, but now I do. Right, just going to add everyone in. Just added Emma, and then our special guest, Dustin. So hopefully, yeah, everything right. Who've we got? Hello, ooh,
Hello.
fancy. Hi, Dustin.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, looking very suave
I'm
there.
red.
I'm wearing a scarf from an Elvis costume.
Oh, that's great. And I don't know, is that a Zelda jumper?
Yeah, it was the only thing I had with hearts on it.
I love it. Oh, brilliant.
Zelda.
You guys all right? You all okay?
Doing
Yeah,
good.
good.
Yeah.
Your hair
Yay.
looks
Oh,
lovely, Shelley.
Yeah. Love
thank
the red
you.
lippy.
I had to put it on especially, but it keeps going on my teeth. Oh, so thank you for joining us, and thank you for everyone joining in the comments as well. There will be spoilers ahead, probably from the get-go with this one, as we chat about 2001's Valentine. So yeah, be my Valentine or else, people. Threatening. So I thought we'd start off a bit differently this time with introductions. And to be fair, I put this question in and then Dustin said you should move it to the top. So I went with his suggestion. So apparently for promotion for the film, Warner Brothers official website did like digital Valentine's cards. So I thought you could do like a killer poem for your introduction. So Emma, would you like to go first?
Okay, so my killer poem is: roses are red, chocolates are sweet, but it's your heart that I want to eat.
Oh, oh, there's a cat tail as well. Oh, I'm scared.
Yeah, I think
And we have.
the cat wants to eat some hearts as well that came up right at that time.
Oh,
He's actually trying to bite me right now.
So
My cat's mad at me right now.
If you hear scratching at the door, it's probably my cat trying to get in because I've shut the door on them. Bless them. So yeah. So we have Josh with us. Josh, what's your poem?
Ooh. Your friends
Ooh.
all agree you're the height of glamour. I love you much more when you've met my hammer.
Ooh.
Oh, I like that
I just read
one.
out to my boyfriend and he was like,
Brilliant.
Oh, that's brilliant. And then our special guest is Dustin from Dustin Can Read and the Rewatch Recap. Brilliant podcast. Do check it out. And Dustin, what's your poem?
For you, my love, there is no hope, for I will strangle you with a rope.
Oh. Oh dear, I'm very terrified. But mine, like, I couldn't think of anything. I'm so hopeless, like, at stuff. So
Yeah.
I kind of tried to like couple something that's like my favourite thing in with something that could sound threatening. So I kind of went with roses are red, violets are blue. Adam Devine, I'm coming for you.
That's stalkery. That's good. That's good and scary.
That's not as good as yours.
All
yours were brilliant. There's mine now. Not very good.
It's so good.
I tried. I love all your poems. And I'm like terrified now that I'm going to sleep with one eye open tonight.
You see me there. You should be terrified. There's no way.
I like Josh went
your house.
a hammer.
Oh yeah.
I thought
hammer,
you were going to go for an axe, Emma, because of
we sound like a game of Clue.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All the different weapons we chose.
So
your teeth.
You'll be really impressed with me as well, I think, tonight. You'll be like Shelley, yes, So you wait. So Valentine is a 2001 slasher film directed by Jamie Blanks, starring Denise Richards, Mary Shelton, Jessica Capshaw, and Katherine Heigl. And I've been practicing David Boreanaz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't take credit because Sharon had to leave me a voice note with how to like pronounce it.
I have a good way to remember it if you need to know, because there was
Yeah.
a Family Guy episode where they were, I think it was called Road to the North Pole, where Stewie and Brian were going to see Santa, and they looked up and they go, "Oh, look, it's the Aurora Borealis."
Ah,
He was in the
I
sky
think
looking at them.
I think Sharon did say that to me, and I was like, I don't know
Yeah,
how to
like
pronounce that
Aurora
either.
Borealis. Yeah, well, it might help somebody. I don't know.
But now you said it, now I can see it. But yeah, thank you, Sharon, for sending me a voice note because it helped. Boreanas. So yeah, it's loosely based on the novel of the same title by Tom Savage, loosely. So essentially, on Valentine's Day in 1988, Jeremy, a geeky boy, is falsely accused of attacking a girl and then basically trashed by others. And then jump forward to 2001, and the girl is part of the group that begins to lose its members to a killer. And it was released on February the 2nd, 2001. The film was critically panned, with critics deeming it too similar to a 1980 slasher film. And fun fact, Denise Richards and Katherine Heigl had the least screen time out of the 5 lead women, but were the first ones to be credited. Go then.
They
Yeah.
probably got paid the most too, I bet you.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So was Valentine's the first time watch for you, or have you seen it before? What were your memories from when you first watched it, Josh?
I'm trying to remember if I saw it in the cinema, but I don't think I did. I think it was a DVD watch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love Urban Legend, which was directed by Jamie Blanks as well. This was his second film. And so I was like really excited for Valentine. I love David Boreanaz. I was a massive Buffy Angel fan as well. So I was like really, really into watching this film. And then it was just sort of like, it was okay. I didn't love it. I thought there was some cool kills in it, some funny lines. I love Denise Richards. But it didn't really stick with me, and it didn't become sort of like part of my pantheon of 90s slashers that I would return to. And I haven't really watched it that much over the years either. So yeah, it's like I can enjoy it for what it is, but it's not up there with its sort of like contemporaries, I would say.
Yeah, no, definitely. How about you, Emma? Have you watched it before? You hadn't watched it before, I don't think.
No, I've never seen it, and for good reason. I love Denise. Denise is fantastic, and obviously, you know, big Buffy fan. So I thought I had high hopes. But, I wonder, did they read the script before when they got it? It's like, if I read that and I gone, absolutely not. That is absolutely pants. I have never watched anything so bad in my life. What do you want to say about it? Because it's probably the worst movie I have ever seen.
Wow.
She feels very offended.
It was a masterpiece compared to this. Honestly, I really didn't like it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the screenwriters. I'm sorry, creatives. Denise she was the best thing about it, in my opinion. Love her.
I love that, Emma.
Apparently Katherine Heigl's the one who didn't read the script, because she was in the first 10 minutes. She didn't even read the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think when she watched the full movie, she was like, I disowned that film.
Yeah, she's disowned it over the years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see, read the full script.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. How about you, Dustin? You've seen it before because you covered it
Yes.
on your podcast.
Yeah,
didn't
but
you?
it's been about 2 years since I first watched it, and I felt like you, and I was like, I feel like all creativity was sucked out of my brain. Like I was numb. I was like, why did they do this? Because I had read the book too, and it made it even worse for me. So like, I'm like, and then just watching it, even trying to subjectively watch it as its own thing, it's like, oh my God, this is bad. I will say this time around, I felt a little better because I knew what I was getting into. So I could see
Yeah.
it in a more campy way, you know, and it's more fun the second time around, I think, because you're like, okay, I can't take this seriously. This is really stupid. And you're watching it for like little things, just to see if you spot clues that you should have seen or something like that. But
there aren't any.
that's the best way to watch it. Is go forward, try it again, like in a couple years, just when you go, you know what, this movie sucks, but I want to watch it anyway, and it actually is better because you have no expectations. Hi.
I love that. Yeah, I remember first watching it. I think, like you said, Josh, on DVD, probably like in 2001, 2002 must have been, and I remember I don't remember much about what I thought, but I always remember being really, so spoilers ahead, really, really angry at who the reveal was, because I was like, I guessed it from the get-go, right from the beginning of the film, way back then in 2002, and I thought, because there's no way you'd hire such a high prolific actor as David Boreanaz, as him, as Angel, to then just really underuse him. He's no angel.
Yeah.
So I kind of guessed, and it just made me really angry at the time, and I was like, this is rubbish. But I haven't watched it since then, but watching it again now, obviously I knew what I was going into, and I have to say, I kind of enjoyed it for the cheesiness. I enjoyed it for all the wrong reasons. I was there for it. Kev watched it with me, and he was like, "What is this?" He was like, he didn't... and I was like, "Yeah, hot tub death, yeah."
Stupid girls.
So yeah, on the rewatch, as I say, I haven't watched it since the 2000s, but I was quite into it. I was like, yeah, go for it, kill them all. Oh dear.
Brilliant.
I've just seen Karen sent us a creepy poem in the comments. So I'd buy you roses or blankets so soft, but defy me and I'll bury your bones in my loft. Karen's doing a loft conversion at the moment, so.
Oh, okay. Speaking from
She'll do it.
experience.
And as Shelley Mack put, love urban legend. So yeah, obviously, urban legend is obviously, top tier. And then this happens. And
the funny thing is, the font for the opening credits of this film is exactly the same font as for Urban Legend.
Oh, yeah.
So clearly, Jamie Blanks was going for kind of an auteur kind of my signature font kind of thing, and then it just made you think this film is nowhere near as good as that one, sadly.
No, definitely.
The thing is, it's not, the kills and stuff aren't that bad. It's just mainly the way, I think it's really the way the characters are written. I really do. You can only go so far as an actor.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you can't.
And half the kills are people that are sort of complete sideline characters, have nothing to do with the main plot. So the one of the best kills is that really irritating woman with the pearls who ends up skewered on the shower glass. But it's completely
why?
You're not invested in her. It doesn't have any resonance whatsoever.
Right.
Because she's completely irrelevant.
No rhyme.
She was
just. Yeah, I think I've read that Jamie Blanks really wanted her as one of the roles, but she didn't quite fit, so he kind of created a role for her. So I wonder whether, just created the role just to bump her off like that. It was a cool death, though. I was like, yeah. Kev in the comments said, definitely found this on DVD. Wish I could have seen it in theatres. But I kind of wish that I had seen it in theatres now, just because I think I would have been with my girlfriends, having a good time. We'd have a giggle and stuff. Yeah, I think it would have been a bit of a giggle in the theatres. Shaman's put, enjoyed the kills, and David is very easy on the eye, but the acting is shocking. It's
so weird seeing David Boreanaz wearing light coloured clothing, because he just wears pretty much nothing but black in Angel.
Yeah.
So it was a bit
I wish
okay.
They'd have done something different with his hair, though, because I always hated his hair, and I wish they'd have done something instead of the porcupine look. I wish they'd have done something different for him for that role, because he still looks like Angel to me in there. So I wish pushed him up a bit, or I don't know what they could have done there, or
just
flattened it down.
something a little bit different.
That was the look at
Yeah.
the time, though. That was like that was the cool look, you know.
Is that
So that was just kind of
frosted tips? Is
Mm.
that what that is?
Oh no,
yeah.
I think it had to be blonde or something.
Yeah,
do
a bit blonder, I think, for the frosted tips. Yeah, I think like Justin Timberlake in like when he's in NSYNC. Kind
that's
of thing.
really frosted. Yeah.
they? Yeah, it's really porcupine.
Or Joshua Jackson in Urban Legend.
Yeah.
Oh, that was even. Oh, yeah. He was
That was
completely.
frosted
He wasn't
everything.
frosted. I think he was just bleach blonde all the way.
Yeah.
Frosted the snow.
Oh dear. I do think like. Is it Marley Shelton? I think I called her Mary Shelton earlier. I'm sure that's an author. But Marley Shelton, I'm sure it is. Her acting in this, she did irritate me quite a lot. It's like, I know. She's done better since.
She's
done better since.
But,
Yeah.
you know, what do we, because, okay, we just heard that he changed, it sounds like he created some stuff and put in the script for one person. Who's to say they didn't just keep changing the script on them? So they had no way to really grasp their character and they had to learn things on the spot.
Yeah,
no. That's been known to happen.
Definitely.
Didn't he say that it wasn't, the script itself wasn't as funny as the film ended up being? Because, like, I think there was lots of ad-libbing and changes, and I guess the casting of certain actors made it more funny in some way. Like that really broad comedy.
Because the dialogue was terrible. So if they were ad-libbing, I would have told them to stop. Stop, don't give me the script.
It's killing me.
Stick to the script. It's already bad enough. Shelley Max put, have you guys ever seen the movie Wild Things with Denise Richards? Yes. Fantastic
long time
film.
ago.
I love that film.
That's a great mystery, but also really poorly written as far as dialogue and stuff. But the mystery itself is good.
Yeah. The worst thing was, I rewatched it. It wasn't this Christmas. It must have been the Christmas before, and I must have been watching it as it was dusk, so I had like the curtains open, right, and all that, and obviously it was getting darker outside, and all of a sudden, like, because there's a lot of sex scenes in it, and I thought, bloody hell, the neighbours walking past probably think I'm watching porn or something. Like, it was like I had all the curtains open, everything. TV was like by the window, so you could look in and see the TV. I thought, God, you're probably thinking, bloody hell, it was Christmas as well.
And she's like,
time.
let everyone know. I don't care.
Christmas tradition.
A Christmas tradition. Oh dear. Kev was put. Always. Kev has put, love how young Paige tells Jeremy that she'd rather be boiled alive than dance with him, and then the cherub basically kills her in the hot tub.
Yeah. Observation.
Yeah. And Sharon's put, the dialogue was so cringy.
Oh, it was.
Hiya. So funny enough, Kev mentioning that. So the film starts off with like flashbacks to Valentine's 1989, setting up the film with like a typical 80s slasher vibe kind of thing, like think prom nights and stuff. And then each girl ultimately foreshadows their own death with what they say. So like the hot tub thing, and then I think Livy says ew, and then obviously she receives the maggots. So I kind of like that. I thought that was quite clever.
We talk about the maggots, Shelley, because maggots stay alive in apples, but not when you melt them in chocolate, I don't.
Unless, like, I was thinking about this, like maybe he got the chocolates and then like injected the maggot in, or I don't know.
I know. I was like, how
Wouldn't
it crawling all over everything, not just inside of it at that point?
Yeah.
It's been covered, you know. And anyway,
Possible.
That'd be the only solution, wouldn't it?
So did you like that it was kind of an ode to an 80s slasher, or do you think no way was it an ode to an 80s slasher? Emma?
No. No, they didn't pull it off. I think they thought they were very clever, because all the little setups that they did were just plot devices. I don't think they realised that wasn't actually a clever twist. That was, you know, doing something that's completely ridiculous in order to get the effects that you want. So, for instance, leaving the iron on and getting in the shower. Why the hell? And then now we know, plot device. That's why, because they wanted to burn the face. Also with the wax comment, because we wanted to pour wax. It's like they're not, you know what I mean? So no, it wasn't as clever in any way to what the 80s sets up. Especially with the boy. Did the boy have nosebleeds? Didn't he? And I was thinking, how is that blood coming through that mask? You know, so it's
Yeah.
Has it
you know,
just slid
Yeah.
right up his nostril?
it
Just
wouldn't
heard
come
that
through.
noise
Was it
right
like, what's it doing? You know, it would just dribble down into your mouth, wouldn't it? So,
So
you know, not that I've
true.
had a nosebleed in a mask, but you know, that's what I would think. But yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think they managed to pull it off, and I think it had very Scream vibes. And I think they really wanted to be as good as Scream, and just didn't do it.
Yeah.
Didn't manage to pull it off, unfortunately.
Yeah. How about you, Josh? Did you think it had 80s slasher vibes, or was it no, no, no?
I think it was quite reminiscent of like the bad 80s films where nothing really hangs together. The characters are actually really shallow and uninteresting, and the kill scene's the best part. You know, I think that's the way it is reminiscent of the 80s. I think so. Jamie Blank's the director. He talked about how Urban Legend was his Scream, so it's like self-referential and it knows it's a horror film to a certain degree. And he wanted Valentine to not be self-referential and be more like those more straightforward 80s slasher films. So in that sense, I think he kind of did succeed, but he also talked about wanting it to have characters you really cared about. And I didn't really care about any of them. The only person I really cared about was Denise Richards's character, because she at least felt
Yeah.
real and she felt like she felt like her own person, whereas everyone else was sort of a bit too distant or unrelatable or annoying. So yeah, in some ways it did hit it, but in a bad way, I would say.
Yeah. Denise Richards' character kind of reminded me of a Christopher Pike character that
Yeah.
that Christopher Pike would put into one of his books, definitely. How about you, Dustin? Did you think it was like an ode to an 80s slasher, or it was a no?
I don't. I
know.
think maybe they might have tried for that. It didn't come off that way, but I think playing off what Josh said, you know, like in the 80s when slasher films really started up, like in the late 70s, early 80s, and you had a lot of them cranking out, and a lot of them were campy because they were done poorly, like this. That was because Scream at 96, I think it was 96, came out, and then all these other slashers started coming out, and then this was in 2001. This is like 5 years later, and they're still trying to push the slasher out, and they're doing it kind of sloppily. And that's the reason why it kind of came off that same way as that like 80s camp slasher, you know. And I think it's just kind of circumstantial more so than what they planned it to be.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I could see what he was trying to do, but I'm not sure. I think with there was a lot of restrictions put on him, and things to be taken out. So I think ultimately it just suffered from needing stuff taken out. And you had kind of, like you mentioned, just around that time as well, you're coming out of the Scream era, and they were trying to hold on to the slasher thing. So you had like Cherry Falls around this time, didn't you? And there was a good film called, and I never see it anywhere, called My Little Eye. And it was like,
I remember that.
My
I've never
Little
heard of that.
Eye. Oh, it was so, well, to this day, I still remember the twist in it.
Who's in it?
To this day, not, I couldn't tell you who's in it. Probably no one famous.
I'm going to look this up while you talk.
Yeah, so I think it's basically like an isolated house, and it's like it's breaking into that like reality TV thing, which became all the rage around that time. And they were like filming this reality TV, and then it all goes very disastrously wrong. But I to this day, it still sticks in my mind. And that was one of the films around that time that I think was done good, but I'd never hear of it or never see it anywhere.
Heard of it. That's weird.
On our list.
Yes. But I tried to look to see if you could get it on digital download or something, and it's just you can buy it on like physical media, but that's about it. But yeah, it was I thought it was a good one around that time. But yeah, that they had clear goals on what they wanted to do, and I think the studio let them do it. Whereas this one, I think, for whatever reason, was held back a little bit. Bless Jamie Blanks, he tried.
He was really restricted. Like, I think he had David Boreanaz for 10 days.
Yeah.
That explains a lot. Too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Katie
no good.
Heigl for 3, I
3.
think.
Well, don't
He was,
Yeah.
I think he was in the
for
middle
10
of.
days, you know?
He was like in,
Just hire someone else.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
David Boreanaz was like in the middle of Angel season 2, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
So it's probably filming mid-season, and he had like a little break that he could do it, and then that's probably what it was.
So do you think, because when they hire these like big actors who were big at the time, do you think like films in general in that respect, and especially like Valentine, do you think it suffered from using those big stars, Josh?
I think using Denise Richards was really smart because she is just fantastic. I'm going to keep going on about her because she's so good. But
I love it, Dee.
so
Amen.
yeah, I think with David Boreanaz, I think because he did like Angel, then he did that series Bones. He just became like a TV actor. He didn't really break into big screen stuff really. So it does date it quite a lot because you're just going, oh shit, why is Angel in this film? It does feel a bit incongruous. Whereas then you've got people like I guess it's just luck of the draw. You get people like Marley Shelton. She ended up obviously doing like Scream 4 and the Scream sequel.
Yeah.
So it's the luck of the draw, I think.
Yeah.
If you get someone who suddenly breaks out, it like lifts the film in some ways, and if they don't, it can sink it maybe.
Yeah.
How about you, Justin? Do you think it suffered from only having like David? Oh, I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name again now.
David
You know what I'm on about?
Boreanaz?
Yeah, it went out of my head then. Do you think it suffered that he only had like 10 days to shoot? And
Yeah, I think it does because especially like we were saying, they were probably. It sounds like they were changing up the script a little bit to suit things. It probably has a lot of improvisation. It's probably trying to learn lines really quickly with everybody, and we got to change things up, and now it probably really suffered from that. I think as far as like acting wise, at least.
Yeah.
Writing it suffered. So
Just
that
suffered.
was its fault. But acting wise, yes.
Yeah, I mean, he never even got to wear the Valentine suit because he wasn't there long enough. The Cupid killer mask.
Yeah.
How about you, Emma? Do you think like casting these big names sometimes when they're hugely big and they can't spend the time, do you think it makes the film suffer a little bit?
Yeah, I agree with Josh and Dustin. It does. There's no way. Just thinking about, as a writer, just thinking about how much you have to adapt things, because I've not had anything produced. I've written scripts, but I've not had anything produced. But how I'm around a lot of screenwriters and how much they have to adapt things on like that doesn't work. It's the same with a novel. If I didn't get to edit my novels, they would be absolute trash. If you said, you've only have this character for 10 things and then it can't go anywhere else. I'm like, well, I don't want it in that scene now. Don't want that character in that scene now because it doesn't work because I've changed something here. So now it's not cohesive. So I think it really, knowing that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think it does. I think it's as far as big actors are concerned, I think it depends on the actor, because some actors can just, like Gary Oldman, can just slip into any character and I don't know it's him. So I think if you can do that, then and I don't think that's something that David can do. He's very samey. Everything he does.
It's just there.
Most actors are, really.
Yeah,
most actors are.
Typecast, I think he's like the brooding guy, and I think that he needed to do something really weird, like when Arnold Schwarzenegger did Kindergarten Cop. He needed to do something way left field, and then it might have, that might have been different for him in movies. It might have taken off.
Yeah.
Where's your daddy? What does he do?
You almost sound like he's doing. What's funny is that reminded me of like David Boreanaz trying to do the Irish accent.
Oh dear. He is meant to be, David Boreanaz, he's meant to be like a really nice guy as well, because my friend from school was actually in Bones. I think like from like about, I don't know, series 3 or something. He played like the geeky lab technician, and then spoilers if you do watch Bones, but he gets killed off in the lab explosion. I think he was in
Oh.
it for a couple of series, yeah. But he says, "Oh, he's so lovely."
He seems like he would be lovely.
Yeah. So during the original casting process, apparently Tara Reid, who was obviously in Urban Legend, was gonna play, or apparently she auditioned for Dorothy Wheeler, which was then played by Jessica Capshaw. And Jennifer Love Hewitt played Paige Prescott, so instead of Denise Richards. And the studio was also considering Jared Leto for the role of Adam instead of David. So what do you think of these alternative casting choices? Like, would they have worked, or did we like the casting that we ended up with? Obviously, we love Denise Richards, but Dustin, what do you think?
I think it turned out, I mean, I think those like dodged a bullet, considering how they were going to run the production and how everything's worked out. You know, yeah, they probably are better off. They are. I don't. You know, we were still going to get probably the same type of product. So I assume. And
Yeah.
I think it would have worked out this way either way.
How about you, Josh? Would you liked any of those instead of some of the casts we got?
Do you know what's weird though is that Jennifer Love Hewitt did play a character called Paige in a film that came out in 2001, which was Heartbreakers. Which is like completely maybe they just copied and pasted, but and she does, and Paige in that film does start out as kind of not a very nice person.
Yeah.
So I could see that she would have been able to do
that movie is far better than this.
Yeah.
Denise Richards, perfect casting. We've established that.
Yeah.
I think that Rebecca Gayheart was also offered a role because obviously she was an Urban Legend.
Yeah.
And she said no because she didn't want to become known as a scream queen. And I would have loved her to be in this. I think she may have brought something a bit more interesting than maybe some of the other actors did. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
with her big eyes. Yeah.
Oh, how about you, Emma? What did you like any of those other choices instead, or did you just like the whole cast replaced?
Well, I thought most of the acting was pretty bad from most of the cast, except obviously Denise and David. But I think Dave. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Jared Leto. But I kind of think he would have been creepier. I don't know. He would have been better in that role, maybe.
Yeah.
I think David's too lovable. I don't know. I think that was what they were trying to go for. Like it could never be. But as you say, he's such a big name.
Yeah.
Jared would have been a little bit more inconspicuous, I think. Yeah, I think maybe people would have not thought him. He may have been able to pull that off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Obviously Denise is amazing. I enjoyed the film for her. I just was watching her. You know, she's amazing. She's such a great actress, and so like Josh, that was the redeeming feature. That is why if I wasn't doing it for this, I would have kept watching just for Denise.
Yeah. No, definitely. Eddie's video put, I've only seen Valentine once and that was enough for me. So Kev has asked, what's the best Valentine's Day horror movie? Josh, have you got a favourite?
Josh, you probably know better than me.
I just rewatched My Bloody Valentine, the remake. So there's obviously the 1981 original.
Yeah.
And I just rewatched the 2009 remake, and it's actually really good.
I've not seen the remake.
No, when I first watched it, I watched it on DVD, but it was 3D DVD, and it came with like the red and green paper glasses, and it was just impossible to tell what was going on in that film. It was just like that blurry everything. It was like, but I quite enjoyed it. I would recommend watching that. It's good fun. It's quite somber. It's quite dark.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah,
some good stuff.
I can't think of any other Valentine's horror.
I don't know.
Other than that.
I don't think I could think of is like maybe anything that could relate to Valentine, like Psycho X's and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like
Lane? Is there a film called Lover's Lane?
Oh,
it's like an early slasher.
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And obviously Yeah, Cherry Falls, but wasn't. Or maybe it was set on, but I can't remember whether it was set on Valentine's Day or not.
Yeah.
But
I can't think of
just
any.
remember it around that time. But yeah, I know I do like the original My Bloody Valentine, because there's a hot dog scene which is just hilarious, and I really hope they put that in the remake, but maybe not.
No.
No.
Maybe I just found it funny. Like Eddie's video will know what I'm on about, I think, because we watched it and chatted about it. But
Was
there's
there
like
a
this
hot dog scene, Shelley? Are you swapping to your
No,
porn on the other
I'm
channel?
doubting myself. I'm sure there was a hot dog scene. I might have made it up, but yeah, I just remember it making me laugh, because I think they put like one of the body parts in the pan with the hot dogs, and then all the kids come along like eating the hot dog sausages, and I'm like, it was just
Body part,
hilarious.
Shelley, clarify.
That's so funny. Eddie's video put my absolute favourite Valentine thing to watch on Valentine's Day is The Simpsons I Choo 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 episode. The Mad Crochet said, I like this movie, so Valentine. Yeah, I liked it on the rewatch, have to admit. Yeah. Shaman said, Jared Leto makes my skin crawl. He is creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
It's creepy in a sexy way, though. Like, I do kind of like him.
We'll let you have that, Shelley.
I thought the guy who played the horrible art guy, he looked a lot like Jared Leto. So
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's from Empire Records.
Oh, yeah.
The one
I
who
wonder where
went up with Liv
I've
Tyler.
seen.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh. Cameron's put Jared Leto. Is it Leto or Leto? Can look both super pretty and super creepy. So he would have been better at the flipper roles. Kev put Lover's Lane with Anne Faris. I'll have to watch that. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Oh, sorry, Nerissa's just put, didn't he try to run a cult? What, Jared Leto?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I love the try part, like he failed.
I mean, he even tried to look like Jesus.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
Shaman's, but he looks like he'd run a cult. Yeah, he does, to be fair. So what was your favourite kill in Valentine? Josh?
Which was it? So obviously, like Denise Richards, I quite like the first one. I quite like Catherine Heigl. I thought the bit with the body was stupid, and actually that wasn't in the script. That was added in by the producer on the day, and Jamie Blanks basically didn't want to do it, and he was outranked.
Oh, for goodness!
So he had to do it.
Oh, wow.
So that bit was completely ridiculous. But I thought that sequence was quite a fun, very traditional way to start a slasher film. Although I take pause over Catherine Heigl's medical student performing an autopsy wearing a tank top.
Yeah.
That's going to
Alone.
Alone. No teachers. What?
How about you, Justin? Did you have a favourite kill?
I was going to say that, but think about in theme with Valentine's Day. I think the one at the art exhibit where she gets shot with the arrows, like the love arrows almost, and by the Cupid. I think that really fits in theme, and I love the whole "don't walk away from me, don't walk away from me, don't walk away from me."
Yeah, that was cool. What did you say, Josh?
Sorry, that stunt person deserves an award because that looked brutal.
Yeah.
Well, apparently she did have bruises because she went obviously so far. So she had like a bulletproof vest on and did actually get fired with the arrows, and she was bruised from it.
Wow.
And she did go as far back as the railing and had bruises on her back as well. But obviously the fall obviously wasn't her. But yeah.
Bravo.
Impressive. Yeah, I like that one. How about you, Emma? What was your favourite?
Well, I obviously loved the one in the shower, because when she's going through the glass and then she gets impaled through the chin, that's great. That was great. I didn't like the opening because it was tropey, and I guessed he was on the slab. I guessed he was going to start stabbing the body bags. I was just like, oh no, don't do it. And I was just like, and my husband was guessing this stuff, and I was like, it must be really bad because he never guesses anything. And I was like, no, Chris, that's not going to happen because that's stupid, and it did. And anyway, he was like going. But yeah, I also really liked because it made me laugh and reminded me of the prom one. The severed head was so stupid.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that was such
Oh
a
my
fake
God,
head.
that was funny. Was it? The mannequin's head, and she's like,
Oh my God, it's a fake head. You're blind.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
I love
supposed to be
that.
the detective, wasn't it?
yeah,
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
the detective. Yeah,
detective,
yeah.
yeah.
His phone took a
Honestly.
long time to go to voicemail.
It
Yeah.
really did.
Oh dear. Well, that would be like how, like, if I was killed off in a horror film, that's how they'd make my head if I was decapitated. It'd be like, oh, something like ridiculous.
Maybe that's what you know.
Cross-eyed.
um, so I think my favourite was the hot tub, like, because like it was just Denise Richards for one, she's just gorgeous, and then also to have the lid put over the top, so you're thrown back, hit your head or whatever, and then the lid just put down on you in that hot tub. Oh, that's like worse. And then obviously the drill came out, but then Kev said, so I was like, yeah, death, like this, and then Kev's like, I've got a question. Like, it's threw the electrics out, but he must have had like a really long extension cord to drill the holes in the top of the hot tub.
Yeah.
Because like he was like proper going for it, but it didn't look like it was attached to an electric cord, but somehow through the...
That's what I noticed.
Oh, it was. I was like,
yeah,
you've just ruined this hot
Static
tub death.
electricity. Just messed it all up.
Oh dear, yeah. So ruin the hot tub.
That was
hot tub death.
definitely better than I still know what you did last
Yeah.
summer with the attempted kill with the tanning bed.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
just turn it
yeah.
off, unplug it, guys.
Yeah.
It's like you'll be fine.
Oh dear. Oh, anything that like encloses me or encloses a character, like no, big no. That's scary to me. Oh, Cameron put, all I know is that in real life, everyone who I think is hot gets arrested for creepy murders or awful crimes. So I think Jared is pretty, so beware.
That sounds like a trip to the therapist.
Yeah.
I want to sort that out, Karen.
Nerissa's put hot tub, Kev's put hot tub scene, the head in the pond had me cackling. Oh,
that's
yeah,
so funny.
just hilarious. Yeah. He ran a cult. Yeah, we're still obsessed with the cult. The missus put, first time I saw it, I swear it looked like a volleyball with a face. Yeah, it probably was Wilson.
Oh my God.
That would have been hilarious. They need to make a spoof of more slashers now and do that. Like that kind of stuff happens. Yeah.
Oh dear. That would have been funner. So as I mentioned earlier, to like secure an R rating, a lot of the kills were trimmed down, including a shot of Katherine Heigl's throat being slit, and it changed to a different like profile shot instead. And there was a lot of talk about restoring the trim kills and releasing like a director's cut, but I think it was just the fans who kind of wanted that, because Warner Brothers just wouldn't do it. And Blanks was disappointed, as he had high hopes for this 1980s style slasher. And obviously with 80s you need to spill the blood, and obviously there really wasn't that much blood spilled. So you've obviously picked your favourite kills, but which kill would you have liked to see completely untrimmed, like full 80s slasher, blood everywhere type of death? Emma?
I think I would have liked to see the first one. I think the first one is impactful. It's supposed to be impactful. So yeah, when he slit her throat, I think it should have gone everywhere. And maybe splattered on a few of the corpse cases that are open, on him, on her. That would have been great. Just have it like a waterfall. I would have been
I love the sound effects.
Let me just zip up this bag. Yeah.
Yeah, so probably that one.
Yeah. How about you, Dustin? Which kill would you like to see totally unfiltered?
Or at least extended.
Yeah,
I think I would
extended.
like to see the super that was trying on her pantyhose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not
because
well.
I'm not well. Don't hurt me, man. I'm not well. I'm like, oh, you jerk. And like, if you like your cakes, whatever, but don't be breaking into people's houses.
Yeah,
And I would have
exactly.
like, he
Get
was
your own
creepy and he
underwear.
kept rhyming everything he said, and scary Gary.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I don't know what was wrong with him, but I wanted to see like more of him getting hurt because you just saw, and that was
Yeah,
it.
you didn't really see much, did you?
And who really got that body? I mean, who has time? And where did the body
Where did it
go?
go?
Where did it go?
Just under the bed, probably, you know.
Yeah, he had time to like clean up the iron and wrap it up. And
Oh dear. How about you, Josh? What would you have liked to see, like extended kill, blood everywhere?
I agree that the Catherine Heigl death would have been so much better if you'd seen her throat and everything. But I think that they should have drilled Denise Richards a bit more. I thought, you know, she gets hit once,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, yes, the job's done. Chuck this in
Straight
the
through
water. Then it was like,
the
no,
eye, Josh, yeah?
you really get a bit more of that, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that would have been good. I do think that they could have played out, or we could have seen more with the bow and arrow thing, like chasing her, at least chasing her. He just kind of stood there like a lazy killer, didn't he? Like with his bow and arrow to get her. But he
That's a
could have done
great
a bit
shot
of
though, when
a
he pulls back the bow and he blood
yeah.
comes out. That's cool.
Yeah, that is a good shot, but yeah, I wanted him to like chase around at least,
he
and
just like showed up. All
you
of a sudden, he's
know,
like, you're dead. Boom. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But then I guess
The
like
installation, like you move the walls around.
No, you saw like the wall clear, like no one's gonna notice. He like changed what it was saying and everything. Yeah.
And like, don't you think though, like in an 80s slasher, like it would have, the bow and arrow would have gone through her eye or something. Like
Or
it
throat
definitely
or
would
something.
have. Yeah.
Stomach as well. I felt it should have gone through the heart.
Yeah.
You know, shot through the heart.
Yeah.
It went in her stomach. I was like, why isn't that through the
Through
heart?
the heart, and you're too big.
You give love a bad name.
Oh yeah,
That
see.
song should have been in the film.
Oh, they should have. Yeah.
They needed us.
Expensive.
Instead of, I know Adam's no angel.
Oh yeah.
He was
But he's no
took control.
angel.
He took control of the TVs and stuff anyway, right? So why wouldn't he just like play something on it? Like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you. You know?
Yeah.
That's good.
Like, but why didn't no one hear a scream and all that? Because it wasn't that big,
Because there's that
was
big
it? Really?
mouth going.
Well, all the walls probably made the sound.
I think it was Josh's mouth.
Josh, we see that film.
I was in that film. Urban Legend.
So with regards to like the mask, so the mask that the killer wears, I'm just interested to hear what you thought about it, because apparently like the nose bleed thing was like an ode to Alone in the Dark in 1982 or something. I've not seen that, but that's what I read. And apparently the killer's mask was inspiration from a painter. Now I'm going to butcher this name. Is it Sandro Botticelli, I think? Oh,
Maybe.
Do you know what? I wasn't looking, and then all of a sudden I just saw the mask. If you watch that back, you'll see who actually jumped.
For you.
So it was like obviously designed on the cherub mask. So what did you think? Is it as iconic as like Jason or Michael Myers or even like the Scream mask? Should I go and wash my mouth out for comparing it? Dustin, what do you think?
I don't. It's not iconic, but it is recognizable to this. I think you would remember it from here on out because of the cherub face, you know, and it hadn't been used and it makes sense to use that for a movie called Valentine, you know, because it looks like Cupid, and so that would be I mean, it just makes sense that you would recognize it for this, but it's not like iconic. It's not something you're gonna. not most people would see on the street and go, "Oh, Valentine, the movie." They're not going to think that.
Yeah.
They see you see a hockey mask or at least a goalie mask at any point, you think Jason. You see
Yeah.
like some kind of thing with knives on your hand or whatever. Even like Wolverine, sometimes I think Freddy Krueger. Like
Yeah.
it's one of those things, but not for this. You wouldn't notice that. Most likely.
No, that's true. What do you think, Emma? Iconic or get in the bin?
In the bin. Get right in the bin. No, not good. I was not scared of it. I didn't think it was scary. They could have made it more like it, I don't know, like simplistic. Simplicity is key with the mask. So like Dustin was saying with the hockey mask, it's simple. It's simple. There's nothing the mask was too fussy, I think. It needed to be a little bit more plain or or cartoonish, more cartoonish, I don't know, but just more simplistic, and then that would have been more frightening, I think.
To add to your point, sorry, did you ever see Happy Death Day?
I was about
Yeah.
to say that as well.
Yeah, I was going to
That's what
say
it
that
kinda
as
reminds me
well.
of, like
Yeah.
that. That's more simple,
Yeah.
and it was kind of plain, and it was kind of creepy. Yeah.
More memorable, and it was more simplistic, definitely. How about you, Josh? Iconic or rubbish?
He just looks a bit bored, doesn't he? He's just a bit like, killed you. I feel like they should have just gone all out and just had him like wearing a nappy, and then like have like a pulley
Wings.
and wings to come out. Yeah.
He just flies in.
With his little boat.
It's supernatural. That would have even been better if it was an actual cherub like flying in, like shooting people and killing them. That would have been even better, I think.
Like a little tiny one.
Yeah, like a little person just flying in, like, what the hell?
Oh dear! It's like that scene where I can't remember who sees him doing it, but he's like putting the maid out of the cupboard after he's killed her, and he's got the mask on. Now, if that was like Jason or like the Scream killers, like you'd be absolutely terrified, wouldn't you? But he kind of looks over and like it just doesn't really have much impact. I was a bit like, oh bless him, he's screaming with the body. Like
almost like a sex doll.
So that scene, I was just a bit like, at that point, I thought, no, the mask isn't really that scary, really, because it did make me laugh. That I was like, oh, he's struggling with the body, like, and like we're meant to believe this is like Angel from Buffy who's killing these people, and he was struggling to pull the body out that cupboard. That did make me laugh. So did you guess the twist as you was watching it, or if you remember from the first time you watched it, or were you suspecting who the killer was? Like, who did you think it was going to turn out to be? I'll ask Emma first because Emma hadn't seen it before.
Yes, unfortunately, and I was really, really hoping that they wouldn't do what they did at the end, and then they did it, and I was like, oh, for goodness sake, because I knew that they were going to. I said to Chris, oh, they're going to make it the friend. The friend who rejected him, the one that was attacked, they're going to make it her. She's going to have the mask on. He was like, oh, because he'd already guessed, obviously that it would be David. And I was like, yeah, it probably is. I hope it's not. And I would have really liked if they'd have kept it her. Because that might have made more sense. Because David's character already had the girl. Why did he need to go killing everybody? He already was dating the girl. He just needed to stop drinking. So I was like, he's got what he wants, yet he's killing everybody anyway. It makes no sense. So if she'd have done it, because obviously she was embarrassed about what happened, and maybe she really liked him and she wanted to get back with him and get this friend out of the way. That might have worked better. So yeah, I did guess. I guessed that she was under the mask, and then oh my God, I said to Chris, if that blood drops on her cheek, I'm going to scream. And he was giggling because he's like, it's going to do it. And I'm like, no, don't. Pitter patter. And I was like, oh my God.
And she didn't feel it.
No.
Yeah, if that dripped on my face, like, I would wake up.
She probably thought he was crying.
I know, but like even then I was like, are you okay? Like, Are you okay? Are you all right? Why are you crying?
Yeah. But it's so,
I mean, it could have been
didn't bleed
anything.
the whole time. And then all of a sudden we've got Niagara Falls coming out of his nose, you know, at the
It was
end.
like,
But he didn't bleed the whole time. Other than
No,
that,
no.
you know.
Oh dear. How about you, Justin? Did you, when you first watched it, did you guess the twist to the ending?
Well, no, well, yeah. I mean, everybody was like, "It's him, it's him,
Yeah.
it's him." I mean, it's him. And then you watch it, and then they're like, "Ah, it's not him," and you're like, "Oh, okay." And then of course that
but
kind
it
of
is,
like,
right?
"Oh, it's him." Okay.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, I didn't. There was a twist on a twist. Like they're trying to make a double, and like we know you think it's him, but it's not him. But it is him. You know, like come on, just.
But we knew what you were doing.
Yeah, we knew all along. How about you, Josh? Do you remember being surprised, or did you just was like, yeah, we knew it was going to be him?
I think I was surprised when Dorothy was on the mask. I was like, ooh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's really fun. I was like, Emma really wanted it to be her.
Yeah,
And then when it was just him, I was like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Wouldn't it have been so cool if there were actually two killers working independently? One was Dorothy killing all the
Yeah.
absolute
Opposition of each
arsehole
other.
men,
Yeah.
because all the men are so awful in this film. She could have been killing all the men, and he could have been killing all the girls, women, and it would have been like, you're both killing for the same reason.
Yeah.
Oh, and then it ends up being a love story, like a real Valentine story, and they get together at
Oh,
the end.
Like little boys
Make
and
it in
villains
heaven.
come
That's
together.
going to be the remake.
Yeah.
Right, we've got the remake right there.
They're both using the same mask. What do you know?
Can't see.
Kind of hallmarky and a little bit of.
It's fate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, as I said at the beginning, like I remember when I first watched it, I was so angry that it was him because like it was just so obvious from the start that it was going to be him. I just knew it. But I do wish it had been Dorothy. I think she could have pulled it off. I think she had like the right motives to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like it just would have been better to be Dorothy.
Yeah.
And I did kind of like. Well, I didn't like her character, but I like the actress. I like her.
Steven Spielberg's stepdaughter.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Just,
Yeah, I really wanted that scene that she has with I've forgotten her name, Kate. That scene that they have together towards the end, where she kind of has her ranting monologue. I wanted more of that in the film. Because that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Sort of like emotional relationship stuff that is basically absent for the entire rest of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kind of motives annoying as well, because like it wasn't just the girls that did that to Jeremy. Like obviously the boys like stripped him and beat him up. Like I would have liked to have seen like a little bit more of that, and if he'd got revenge on them.
Oh, but
I guess.
But Shelley, male violence is always the woman's fault. See, that's what it is.
There was talk that he had actually killed all the guys. There was a draft where he'd already killed all the guys, and now he's moving on to the girls.
Yeah,
but, I mean that's obviously not in the film.
Interesting. I just saw Kev put, I don't think I would survive a Valentine slasher. A pretty girl could lead me anywhere. Yeah, like Denise Richards, you know.
We'd all follow Denise Richards.
We would follow Denise.
Yeah.
Into the hot tub.
Sharon's put in a slasher, I'd be the killer. So Sharon would definitely.
Watching Sharon.
Karen's
put, I need.
Got her loft.
Yeah, loft with bodies. Kev's put, I need Eli. Is it Eli Roth? Eli Roth. Eli Roth to direct a trashy Valentine slasher. Oh yeah, that would be so good. Oh, that would be so good. And I just wanted to ask, because I know Dustin has, but have you? I can't speak. Have you, Josh or Emma, read the Valentine book, the book version?
No.
No. So I know Dustin has. I haven't. So Dustin, please tell us: is the book the same as the film?
Very little is the same. So the basic concept of the killer going after these girls for humiliating him is it. That is it. But it's in the book. So first of all, you see, it's kind of like the reason why they had to change it is because you're with the killer a lot of the book. He's stalking the main girl, but none of the characters' names are the same. But she would be the Kate, I guess you would think of. He's stalking her. He rents an apartment across the street from her place, and he keeps kind of telling you flashbacks to the Valentines the years before, where he's killed the other girls each Valentine's Day, leading up to one a year. And because in college they thought he was creepy, they kind of mean girled him, and they thought he was creepy, and they set him up, and they made him look like he was doing something wrong to them, like he was and he got mad and like hit one of them, and he gets thrown out of college, and it ruins his life, and his parents go off on him, and he kills his parents, and
that's a better story.
Yeah, it's right, but he ends up in jail for a while plotting his revenge, and then he gets out, and he's had all this money and savings that like accrued a lot of wealth, and he like decides he's going to go after each one of them on Valentine's Day, and so that's where you're kind of falling, and you realize that he's actually involved in her life, but you don't know which person he is because you're seeing him from. So it's kind of like it kind of does that I know what you did last summer thing, because the book was like you see the killer, but you don't know you're seeing the killer the entire time, and so that's where they kind of had to change it, and at least in that respect. But it's a lot different. It takes place in New York. This is in San Francisco. She's like in her like early 30s in this, or late 20s, early 30s. She's like a real accomplished author. She has a big loft in New York, and there's a whole thing where they end up on a ski trip at the end, and that's when the killer reveals, or not ski trip, but like a frozen lake or whatever, with the cabin and whatnot, and you found like there's a killer reveal, and you're like, oh, that's who it was the whole time, that kind of thing. And because that one really kind of confused me, because I kept thinking it's this guy, no, it's this guy, no, it's this guy the whole time, like, oh my god.
That's
so
cool.
I highly recommend reading the book. I really do. It's
See,
I was upset.
Why didn't they?
Richard.
So apparently Dylan Sellers, who was the producer, said he only bought the rights to the book to use the title. Now I think like he should have used the book material. Definitely, it sounds
they could have
like
made it work. It's like they could have shot like point of view shots or something, so you wouldn't see who the killer was until the reveal. They could have done something like that, but they didn't do it.
The deep breathing, where you can't see the killer, but the killer's looking at everybody else, and all you can hear is the killer's deep breathing.
Thing is, the killer in his flashbacks to the other Valentines, he really gets them integrated into their lives. Like he dates them and gains their trust, and then he kills them.
That's brilliant. Why would they not ask him to do the book?
That to me sounds more like an 80s slasher than what they ended up making. Like, because I'm imagining like they could do something like, is it in Terror Train, where you see from the killer's point of view and you can hear the breathing? I think, or something. It's one of those.
Well, even if like he used kind of a different voice for each person, and all you saw was him talking to them, and they were looking at the camera, and you heard a different voice. But then later on, he kind of changes his voice a little bit to sound more like that, when he went crazy kind of thing, or they could have done something kind of like that.
I would have loved to have known how Tom Savage. I'd love to have known how Tom Savage, the author of that book, felt about the film, and if he knew that they were going to change it so much. Like, oh dear, that's the problem, isn't it, when they buy the rights to the film sometimes.
So careful.
But I know, Dustin, you did a podcast about the book versus the movie,
right?
Didn't you, a couple of years ago? So I'll put a link to
that.
With Leroy Cross James.
Leroy, we love Leroy.
We
Creepypasta.
Compare them. I kind of recap both of them, so.
I'll put a little link up to it after. So overall, to finish off, so did you have fun with it? Would you watch it every Valentine's Day, Emma?
Absolutely not. No, do you know what? I had fun on this chat because I knew it was so terrible that I knew that it was going to throw up so much fun. It was interesting, though. It was interesting to find out the process from obviously a writer's perspective, as what, all the things that Dustin and Josh were bringing up, and yourself, Shelley, about what happened in the production. That was really interesting for me, like how not to do it. This is your thing. Yeah, no, I love the fact that it was, that I've had this wonderful chat with you guys, and that's what I've got out of it. And of course, I love
I would do
Denise.
this
So
chat again every year.
I'm not gonna watch it again, no. Never ever. I'm going to watch Starship Troopers for Denise. That's it. That's what I'm going to do.
All wild things.
Yeah.
How about you, Josh? Is it going to be a Valentine's tradition for you?
Maybe once every 5 years.
I like it.
I'm definitely going to watch it again just because I'm a sucker for a slasher. But yeah, probably not every year.
Yeah, and I love how you got it on DVD as well.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, like it's that 2000 style cover with the little,
cardboard plastic.
I bought it a couple of years ago because I was like, it can't be as bad as I remember it being. And then, yeah.
Have you watched the extras on there? Like, are they any good?
It's really weird. I started listening to the audio commentary last night, and I must have listened to it 10 years ago because I remembered everything the director was saying. So he does quite a good chat on there. But I mean, the extras are a club reel of the song Opticon by Orgy, which is one of the songs in the film. And then there's Valentine behind the scenes, but I feel like it's one of those 2-minute things that it's just sort of like, this movie is awesome, and it's like there's nothing really behind the scenes at all. Yeah, interactive menus. There you go.
Oh, nice. Karen's put Denise was in a movie, I forgot the title, where she was a beauty queen contestant who gets blown up on a giant swan. Yeah, Drop Dead Gorgeous.
That's a great movie.
I love that film. I've seen more Denise Richards films than I thought.
You'll ever watch.
Yeah, I like
so
that.
And you can't forget when she was on Friends and she kept flipping her hair back. Kept staring at her.
How about you, Dustin?
His cousin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's like watching, doing this.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, how about you, Justin? Would you watch it every Valentine's and remember our chats?
I'm going with Josh. Maybe every few years. That's for fun, just to watch it. I think it'd be fun to put on at a party and play like a drinking game too,
Yeah.
Have a Valentine's dinner or something and have people over and just watch it and have fun.
You should
like that.
That would
do a
make
shot
such a
every
good drinking
time
game.
they play the theme tune because they play that jingle over and over and over and over. It's so annoying.
Oh dear, you'd be wasted by the end of it. So then it would be more enjoyable then, sir. That's what you should have done, Emma.
Yeah, well, I should have done like a shot of blood every time his nose bleeds, like that.
Yeah, I liked it. And yeah, I think the same. Like every few years, maybe I might watch it again, but more just because it was just hilariously funny than good. But and Denise Richards, obviously. Kev's put she was on I can never say this, Seinfeld.
Yes.
Yes,
Seinfeld.
did it right. I'm so bad at pronouncing things like.
Also, Tammy and the T-Rex is fantastic. It's this really bizarre early film that she did with Paul Walker.
I've never seen it.
It's so funny. His brain gets transplanted into an animatronic dinosaur.
Well, you just mentioned Paul Walker, so I'm waiting for Karen.
It's B movies, isn't it?
And Sharon's put this chat was 100% better produced than the film. It's just because I said David Boreanaz.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I got his name right, thanks to Sharon. Oh dear, but yeah, I'm surprised Karen hasn't popped up when you mentioned Paul Walker. Yeah, disappointed Karen. I think it's Paul Walker. He's the one that's dead, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Karen.
He's dead, right?
Dead guys, would you keep them in her attic?
That's,
We're not
yeah,
laughing at his death. We're laughing at her. Okay.
yeah, we're laughing at Karen,
Yeah,
not
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 at its
Paul
death.
Walker's tragic death. No, but the fact that Karen keeps dead bodies in the loft. On that note, as this chat was 100% better produced than the film, yeah, Sharon says she's burying bones in a loft. Thank you all for like a fab chat. I knew we'd have fun with this, and like I put my hands up. I suggested this film. Josh then said, "Yeah, let's watch it," and everyone just went along with it. And then
Okay.
oh dear! So, oh, here's Karen. Wait, I was picking up plant off flooring. What was that about my husband Paul Walker? That you've got him in the attic.
Planking.
But yeah,
of
thanks.
flooring. Plank of flooring.
Oh dear, plant of flooring. But yeah, thank you guys. I knew we'd have a laugh with this one, and I'm so glad that we did, and we chatted about it. And to everyone who's joined in the comments, but do check out Josh's brilliant books, Burn the Negative, The Shadow Glass, and pre-order Heads Will Roll.
Yeah.
Oh, so excited! It's nearly here. Oh, that's how excited I am.
I'm scared.
Oh, and do check out Emma's got some short stories in here. Look at them covers. Scary, scary.
No, that's
That one. Yeah, that's like bleeding. Not
your
like
mouth
Jeremy.
bled every time you killed someone. That'd be a bit more inconvenient than your nose.
Yeah.
And do check out Dustin's 2 fabulous podcasts. So we've got Dustin Can Read, where you're hosting like a monthly book club, and you're reading Nick and Charlie, which the chat is next Saturday.
Correct.
And you're covering the Magician Series 2 on the rewatch recap at the moment, which, yeah, I'd need to catch up and watch, but yeah, looks so good.
If you like horror and you like fantasy mixed in with it, that's what you need to watch. And Harry Potter and Narnia and all that. If you watch that,
nice.
You're gonna love it.
Sounds so good, so good. But I will share as well with the podcast that you did for Valentine as well. So, but thank you guys, and
Thanks,
I'll
Shelley.
speak to you next month.
Thanks, everyone.
Well, let's think what film we can pick for next month. Babysitter vibes.
Ooh, a Halloween.
We'll have a little. Oh yeah.
When a
Halloween.
Stranger Calls.
Oh,
Yes. Ooh,
That's a
I
good
love that one.
one.
Ooh, okay, we'll have a think. All right, thanks, guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for being my Valentine. Bye.